Happy Mother's Day. So I want to acknowledge that today is one of those days that some people it is so special and full of love and warmth. And we heard from Nancy earlier that she had her first motherless Mother's Day, and it was so hard for her. It was hard, and the whole community had to gather around to support her. But for some of us, Mother's Day can be challenging for a different reason. Some of us didn't have wonderful relationships with our mothers. Now, you don't have to raise your hand, but if you look around, there's a percentage of people who, let's face it, have some mommy issues. Father's Day, same thing. I could say the same thing, just replace daddy issues. And so when we talk about Mother's Day from a spiritual sense, from a spiritual practice, we could go to the Divine Mother. I love the song. Heart of the Mother. Yeah, thank you. But I want to talk today about self. How can we mother ourselves? And when I think about Divine Mother, the qualities of the Divine Mother, I think if we could embody those qualities, change the world. A lot of the problems in our world today, individual level, stand still. Is it because I'm moving around? Oh no. I don't know if I can stand still. What am I talking about? Being our own mother. So I think if we could embody Divine Mother qualities, we could change the world. I believe that subtracting the qualities of the Divine Mother is what is responsible for the hurt, for the pain, for the war, for the competition, for putting human beings in a hierarchy of value. If we could embody Divine Mother, we would nurture all life. We would protect the vulnerable. We would live our lives with an eye to the future generations. But before we can bring that to the world, we have to bring it to ourselves first. For when we live here in the self, when we live a quality or a principle or an idea, when we live it here, we express it out. Moving again, aren't I? Express it out into the world when we embody it first. So what are the qualities of Divine Mother? So when you think, don't think of your not so good mother. If you had a wonderful mother and you have a great, think of her. Think of the mothers that you've witnessed. Think of the people in your life who have mothered you in ways that made you feel nurtured and loved. What are the qualities? Compassion. Patience, non-judgment. Unconditional love. Now imagine if you could give yourself unconditional love. Imagine that. I was talking this morning about how we show up in the world with Jennifer. How we show up in the world. And you got to do the best that you can when you show up, right? And a big learning curve for me around that idea. Where's the spot? Just show up and do the best you can. When there have been days that I have shown up and I shone like the sun. I was magnificent. Now imagine if I measured myself against the very best I had ever done, if I measured myself against that every single time. I'm going to fall short a lot, probably, right? But what if I wasn't measuring myself? What if my only measure was, I'm going to show up and do the best I can today, right now? I'm going to show up to the best of my ability right now. And I'm not measuring against anything. I'm not measuring against other people. I'm not measuring against a past accomplishment of myself. And I could just love myself for showing up and doing the best I can and being okay with that. What if I make a mistake? Does a loving, nurturing mother berate a child for making a mistake? If you were the kind of mother I was, I got a little excited. Okay, well, I wasn't like this at first. This was a learned. When my kids made a mistake, I got excited because it was a learning opportunity. Oh my gosh, when you go over that big dirt hill on your bike, what happens? It's a good thing you got a helmet on and wrist guards. And I wasn't excited that my kids got hurt, but I was excited that they were learning. They were learning about physics. They were learning about what their body could do, what their bike could do. And imagine if we could do that with ourselves. Oh my gosh, I just took a big tumble. Now I'm not going to ride a bicycle over a big dirt pile. But I take risks in different kind of ways. My biggest risks are usually in having difficult conversations, being vulnerable in front of another person, bringing my own fragility to the table without putting up a suit of armor in front of it. And when I think about Divine Mother and how I bring that to myself, why would I want the most precious, delicate part of me to be hidden away? I remember my middle son, who has all the typical qualities of a middle child, wanted to go live with his dad. And he had built an entire fantasy story around how perfect his life would be and how he would lose all of his problems if he just lived with his dad. Because his dad was fabulous and wonderful and magnificent and wise and strong and didn't have as many rules as Mom. Now I knew that if I sent my son halfway across the country, his tender, fragile heart would be crushed. Not because his dad's a bad guy, but I just knew it would happen. And my mama bear wanted to say, "No, you must stay here. No pain for you." And I really struggled because he and I were like this, because he wanted to go. And he was almost 18. So my boss at the time, who was a Unity minister, told me I had to go into the sanctuary and meditate until I got over whatever was bothering me. So I listened, and I went into the sanctuary and I meditated. And it was one of those meditations where the sunlight dapples through the trees and shines right on me, and the angels sing. And it was one of those meditations. I mean, I felt like I went somewhere sacred. I didn't really have anything in my mind, it just felt like that. Like I touched sacred magic. And I thought, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but okay. And I took a breath and I stood up from the chair I was sitting in and I heard a question. Do you love your son? I was mad. What a question to ask me. How dare you, higher self? And my response was, of course I love my son. And what I heard changed everything. Then why are you trying to steal away his experience? I sat back down on the chair and I cried and I cried and I cried. Because I knew I was going to send him halfway across the country. I knew what would happen, and I knew his tender, vulnerable heart would be crushed. So I sent him. I bought a one-way ticket. Sent him halfway across the country. And his tender, vulnerable heart was crushed. And he didn't tell me. He knew I was right. It was everything I had warned him about. And I even tried to give him skills so when it happened, he could maybe handle it a little better. Of course, he didn't listen to me. It's one of those skills that you have to learn in experience. So he couch surfed with friends for a while. He lasted 4 months, I think, at his dad's house. And then was back and forth, couch surfing, that kind of thing. Many years later, he and I talked about it. And he said he didn't want to burden me with his crushed heart, which just crushed mine, Part of Divine Mother is knowing when to intervene, when not to intervene, but also, and maybe more importantly, the ability to see sacredness in all experiences. It took a while for me to see the sacredness in my son's experience of getting his vulnerable heart crushed. But when he and I talked about it so many years later, I could see it was worse than I thought. But he told me how he learned much about himself through that experience. How he learned a lot about his father in that experience, and how he learned much about me, his mother, through that experience. When we are able to see the sacredness in all of our experiences, that is the Divine Mother. When we are able to love unconditionally, you can leave me and go get wounded, and I know that's going to happen, and I love you so much, I will allow you to do that. That is Divine Mother. And when we love ourselves, we can bring those same qualities. I just got my heart crushed, and it's okay. I shared my vulnerability, and it was not received the way I was hoping. That's okay. There's sacredness in my experience. There's holiness in my experience. And we have this misconception that all that is sacred and holy is rainbows and butterflies. When in reality, it's everything. Everything. And we live in the physical world where we have paradox and duality. We wouldn't have up if we didn't have down. We wouldn't have light if we didn't have dark. And we wouldn't have a mountain if we didn't have a valley. So when we are faced with a life experience and we want it to be different, and it can be anything. I practice quite a bit with my adult children. I want them to live their lives the way I want them to, because that would be better for them. But when I practice divine motherhood, divine mothering, I can see this holy sacredness in their choices, because they are living their life journey with all their bad decisions. No, you don't need a new expensive car with a big hefty loan. No, says the woman with a big expensive car. I think it's important for us as people who, I'm assuming that you're with me in that you want to live an intentional life, and you want it to be a spiritual life, and you want it to be a life well lived. And we have to be intentional to make that happen. And one of the practices that I incorporate into my daily life is looking at my life and my experiences through the eyes of the Divine Mother. How do I love myself through this process? I have an experience and somebody says something to me and it pushes one of my buttons and I get a little hurt about it. How do I approach this through divine mothering? I approach it the same way I did with my middle son. And I look at myself and I say, your experience is okay. And if I want to, I can ask myself, what have I learned through this experience? If I need to, I can do some sacred wallowing and cry about it in a big, loud kind of way if I need to. We live in a world that is so hard, aggressive, abrasive, full of competition. Everything that we consume tells us how to measure ourselves against others. I overheard a group of youngins. They were probably in their late teens, some boys and girls, a couple of they/thems, and they were talking about beauty and feeling good about themselves. And one young boy said, he's like, well, I'll never be a looker. And he does air quotes, I'll never be a looker. And I saw this young girl's face, and she thought he was a looker. She looked at him with such shock. And she said, "You're so cute." And then her face turned beet red. And it was such a precious moment. And then everybody jumped in, and I even saw her girlfriends like side-eye her, and they all jumped in. "Yeah, you're so cute." That's very different than the experience of maybe a different group of young people. I want to be, in my group of friends, I want my friends to be like that group. If I blurt out something that I find embarrassing because I've just exposed a vulnerability, I want my friends to have my back. Now, maybe you don't have to cover for me, but I want my friends to have my back. Divine mothering is having your friends back. I have another friend who is a surgeon, and she and I were talking about Mother's Day. She had her first motherless Mother's Day a couple of years ago, and Mother's Day is still really hard for her. And she was telling me that a lot of times when people come out of anesthesia, they want their mom. And they say, "I want my mom." And she said, 50-year-old men, "I want my mom." 40-year-old women, "I want my mom." I think each one of us can have that experience at different points in our life. I want my mom. And what we're really saying is I need to be nurtured right now. I need to be held right now. I need to be loved right now. I need to be heard right now. If you can think of what you need, and it's as your inner child, you can think of this as your healthy self, your wounded self, whatever. When you think about the needs that you have, and I don't mean you need, like I need to use the restroom right now, or I need right now. Although maybe part of your self-care needs to be getting yourself to bed at a decent hour. Oh, I just realized. Frequently up until 2, 3 a.m. And maybe, I was going to say, not like food, shelter, that kind of thing. Maybe you need to feed yourself in nourishing ways instead of always grabbing the quick and easy that isn't quite as nutritious. Maybe you need to go outside and play. That's what my mom always said. Go outside and play. Think about what you're in your life. What do you need? Do you need to feel unconditional love? How might you give that to yourself? Do you berate yourself? Do you come down on yourself? Do you measure yourself against others, or maybe, like I do, my past greatness? I was great once. Bringing unconditional love, I'm great just because I am, not because of what I do. I'm just simply great. Or maybe you need nurturing. How can you nurture yourself? For a lot of people, that is, pampering, self-pampering kind of activities, bubble baths, getting a massage regularly. I nurture myself by preparing healthy food. I don't have the greatest relationship with food. It's kind of an all or nothing kind of thing for me. So nurturing myself is taking the time to go to plan, and then go to the grocery store, buy all the stuff, come home. Now I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. However, I've met me, so I have to prepare everything right then before I put it in the fridge. Otherwise, I'll forget that all those vegetables are in there, and then I have a larger garbage delivery, So nurturing myself is a whole process of steps around food. What are some more ways that you could use the concept of the Divine Mother to care for yourself? Not rhetorical. What do you need?
Enforcing healthy boundaries with others.
Enforcing healthy boundaries with others. Absolutely. Rest. And rest that you don't earn. Just rest when you need it.
That's a big one.
Yeah. What else?
Letting it be okay to make a mistake.
Letting it be okay to make a mistake. Right. So a while back, we had some new members, and I forgot to name them, right? And I forgot to say their names. I'm like, here's your new members, yay, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, but I forgot to say the names of the new people. And the next Sunday, I asked our wonderful, and put it in the script to say, last week, Reverend Sarah messed up, da-da-da. And the platform person said, I can't say that. I can't say that. Because it was kind of written as Reverend Sarah messed up again, or whatever. I can't remember what it said, but the platform person said, I can't say that. And I talked with that person, and I said, I want everyone here to know that I made a mistake. That I just forgot and what more important part of a new member induction than to know who the people are, right? I wanted everyone to know that I messed up. And not in a look how terrible I am kind of way, but more of a look how easy it is to make a mistake and say, I made a mistake, and move on. It's easy. Unless you've never done it before, then it's terrifying, scary, and really hard. But I promise, the next time you make a mistake, if you act as if you are the Divine Mother looking at yourself and you say, oh, here's a mistake, let's move on. Now you might need to make amends. So you make amends. I told every one of those new members, I am so sorry that I forgot to say your name during service. That I meant it, I was really sorry. And then move on. You do it once, the next time is light years easier. The next time you do it, it becomes even more easier. And then pretty soon you're like, hey, 50 people in the audience, all eternity, I messed up. Let's move on. What else might you need in regards to some Divine Mother? Patience. Patience.
My dog.
My dog. Unconditional love, yeah. Nice warm hugs. Do you know, before Unity, I was not a hugger. In fact, I was like, don't touch me. I have some personal space, stay out of it. And I say, being in Unity trained me to desire. Say, are you hugging today? Of course I'm hugging. Bring it. Let me love you and let me receive some love from you.
Accepting yourself.
Accepting yourself, right? I remember when I gave birth to my first child, I thought, wow, that was the worst pain I've ever experienced, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I also thought, this is the ugliest human being I have ever seen. And also the most beautiful. How can that be? His head was all squished and misshapen and pointy. And he didn't seem to have a chin or a lower jaw. And his skin was so many different colors. Simultaneously, the ugliest and most beautiful human being I had ever seen in my life. And I remember thinking, they talk about hormones in your body. This stuff is magic. But in that moment, I had a clear understanding of unconditional love and full acceptance. So imagine giving that to ourselves. That would be a beautiful experience to receive, to experience in self. So I invite you to think about your life and how you show up. I'm in the wrong spot again. For yourself. Do you have ways that you show up in a way that is not very nurturing, not very loving, not very... Do you think you a little more of those qualities? Could you make a commitment to yourself to be a little more accepting, to be a little more loving, to be a little more compassionate or nurturing to yourself? Pick Pick one of those: nurturing, compassionate, accepting, unconditionally loving, whatever the word that is speaking to you right now. Pick one of them, and let's bring that to meditation. So let's take 3 deep breaths and just let go of the intellectual exercise of and get into our bodies. And we inhale. Again. One more time. Focus on the core of your being. If your attention could go as inward as possible. Bringing your awareness to that part of you that is connected to all that is. The most sacred, the most holy part of yourself. Imagine, sense, and feel that this part of yourself embodies Divine Mother. Doesn't matter if you're old or young, man or woman, non-binary, doesn't matter. The Divine Mother dwells within you, at the core of your being. Imagine that at your core, this quality of spirit expands to embrace you. However you imagine that in your mind, bring it to life with fear. Can you feel the embrace? Maybe it feels like you're being cradled. Maybe it feels like a warm hug. Maybe it feels like a divine presence sitting with you. With intention and a willingness, open your divine listening ears and your divine seeing eyes. And pose the question, how might I bring this quality of divine mothering to myself? Whatever word you chose, compassion, nurturing, acceptance, unconditional love. Whatever it is, maybe it's kindness or gentleness. Bask in this quality for just a few moments. Give yourself the gift of basking in this divine mothering quality. And just hold that for a few moments in silence. We might ask ourselves, am I willing to bask in this quality again? Am I willing to bring this quality to myself in the hours and days and weeks to come? Am I willing to bring divine mothering to myself? And if you're doubting, say to yourself, either in your mind or even out loud, I am worth it all. I am worth it. I am worth it. I am worth it. And so it is. Amen. Phew. So now we do something else. We change the order of service for you now. We're for some more. I invite you to stand up for our second song.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear spirits gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Now let's circle up and sing our closing song, My Soul is Welcome Here.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, la, la, la. Oh, la, la, la. Oh, la, la, la. Oh. Oh, la, la, la. Oh, la, la, la. Oh, la, la, la. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome. Yeah, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Let's go forward and love ourselves and heal the world. Amen.